What's up, horse racing fans? Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Horse Racing. Today we have the Pegasus World Cup card down in sunny Florida at Gulfstream Park. Going to be diving into races 8 through 12, giving you my best bets and a long shot pick for each race. And I'll tell you who I like in the Pegasus World Cup, along with Knicks Go and Life is Good. So let's dive right in here and look at this. Race 8, the Inside Information Stakes, Grade 2, going 7 furlongs. I like a horse kind of in the middle on the outside here. And the 8, Just One Time is my top pick with Brad Cox and Joel Rosario. 5 from 4, Lifetime. Posted a 106 speed figures, won last 2 starts. Last start being the 100,000 at Penn. Second pick, going back towards the inside, going to be AG Indy for Luis Saez and Todd Pletcher. The horse is 6-3-1 in 2021. Winner last time out in the Madeline $200,000 stakes race at Del Mar. Third pick, going with Jakarta with Mike Trombada and Urad Ortiz. Finished first last time out in the Missed Clause at Parks. Somewhat of a little bit of a good win for this horse coming in. Looking at the past graded stakes races, hasn't done so well. So kind of stepping in here, hoping to keep that form from the last time out, and has ran fairly decent at Gulfstream in the past. Kind of left off a long shot in that race. I believe it's a great betting race between these three, and you can also make a case for Four Graces or Pacific Gale, but there's just really no deep prices in here for what I would consider a long shot. Heading into race 9, going to mile 16th on the Gulfstream Turf. We have the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf Invitational, presented by Pepsi. So if you're a Pepsi fan, here we go. Number 4, I'm going with the Chad Brown 6-year-old mare out of Animal Kingdom, Regal Glory, as my top pick. 5-3 in 2021 with three of those wins. Has posted over $1 million on the turf before, 16-9 lifetime on that turf. Has raced on the Gulfstream Turf. Finished second in that race, but that was a while ago. Finished first last time out in the Matriarch Grade 1 stakes race at Del Mar. Ran in the First Lady Grade 1, finished second, got beat out by Blown Out. So has the graded stakes races on the resume. Chad Brown has this one prime, gets a top jockey in Jose Ortiz. Just hopefully this horse sticks to the Gulfstream Turf and runs well coming in. My second pick is going to be Sweet Melania on the inside for Luis Saez and Todd Pletcher. Winner last time out in the Swine River Grade 3. This was at Gulfstream. However, it was only going a mile here, stretching out a little bit, going a little mile and 16th, but is familiar with the Gulfstream Park turf. Kind of not too bad at the distance, 6-2 at the mile and 16th. So this 5-year-old mare out of American Pharoah should set up pretty decently, getting a little bit of extra distance. My third pick, I'm going with Wakanaka, an Irish bred horse for Will Mott and Umberto Rispoli. Just looking at the stats, 2021, 2 for 2, and then lifetime 8 for 6, all of these being on the turf. Won last time out in a Grade 3 stakes race. I believe that was over in Italy. So some of these horses that come across the pond, that come here and run in these turf races, usually show up big. So I'm kind of going to use this one as nice money here for 12-1 as my third pick. Lady Spitesphere is another great one with Junior Alvarado. So kind of pay attention to the odds on this one as it sits at 8-1 on the morning line. And my long shot going a little deeper at 12-1, Summer in Saratoga. I talked about this horse in last week's video and ended up scratching out at the fairgrounds. So I'm using her again here in hopes that it can kind of find its way going into 2021. Has big graded stakes resumes, one of the last two. So hopefully this one's in good form, kind of sneaking in with Joe Sharp at 12-1 on the morning line. Moving on, we got race 10, the Fred Hooper Stakes, presented by Hillendale Farms, a grade 3 stakes race going a mile on the Gulfstream Turf, Gulfstream Dirt. I'm going with the rail horse in here as my top pick, number 1, Fearless, Todd Pletcher, Luis Saez. Seems like Todd Pletcher and Luis Saez drew the rail a lot in this card. But Fearless, winner last time out in the Harlan's Holiday grade 3 stakes race, so has the grade stakes under its belt. 5 for 4 at Gulfstream Park, so familiar with the track. The distance should not be an issue, going a mile and 16th last time out, cutting back to a mile. Don't see any problems there, especially with a horse that has this caliber speed. Should be able to set up nicely just off the pace. Second pick, going a little further on the outside, going with Speaker's Corner with Wilmot and Junior Alvarado. A little bit lighter race for a 4-year-old colt. 6 times, 3 wins, 4 for 2 in 2021. Finished second last time out in the Discovery, $150,000 stakes race. Ran in, I believe it was the Parks Derby, a grade 1, back in September. Got beat out by Hot Rod Charlie, Midnight Bourbon, so it's kind of ran against some fairly decent company. 2-1, interesting for the morning line odds. So definitely using this one as my second choice. And going to my third pick, Liam, out of Liam's Map. Kind of another lighter raced horse for a 5-year-old. Has 5 races, 2 wins, 1 for 1 at Gulfstream Park. I kind of like the horse's last win in that allowance race. Kind of getting back on its feet after running in the Oaklawn Derby back in 2020. Comes in possibly in good form for Todd Pletcher. Definitely an interesting one here with maybe 2 horses that could easily run away with this. So I kind of threw that one in, Liam, as my third pick. My long shot is going to be Girolamo's Attack. Winner 2 times back in a $60,000 handicap. Kind of stepped up in class to a 125K at Gulfstream. The only reason I'm using it is just because it has that Gulfstream Park experience on this type of dirt, with Joe Safi and Jose Ortiz getting them out for the first time on this horse. But 9-4 at Gulfstream, 15-5 lifetime, 9-3 in 2021. Post some decent speed figures. And I think the horse needs to get to the front if it has a chance to kind of hold on. Don't think there'll be an issue with the horse as long as Jose Ortiz can break and get in front. The biggest thing being that outside post draw. And here we go with one of the 2 big races. We have the Pegasus World Cup Turf, a grade 1 turf race going a mile in 1/8 for 4-year-olds and up. This is probably a great betting race. I'm going with number 6 as my top pick, the 3-1 morning line favorite with Todd Pletcher and Arad Ortiz and Colonel Liam. Okay, so everybody knows a lot about this horse just by what he was able to do in the Turf Classic on Kentucky Derby Day with the dead heat with domestic spending, and then turns around and loses in the Manhattan on Belmont Day by domestic spending. So domestic spending is not in this race, so Colonel Liam is probably getting a little bit of relief from that. I think the 5-year-old horse is going to set up nicely in here. I don't see any other contenders that should pose a threat to Colonel Liam with the speed that he has. And I think Arad Ortiz is not going to let him get beat for a second straight time, especially after Arad not being on him in the Manhattan, getting beat, and then coming down to a dead heat when the last time Arad was on him. So 4-3 in 2021, like I said, got beat out by domestic spending in a tough Manhattan, kind of tough race for Colonel Liam there, finished 8th. Um, but I think the horse is a little bit more comfortable in here, should set up a little bit more comfortable in here. The only horse I see could possibly pose a threat is going to be Sacred Life, French bred horse for Chad Brown and Jose Ortiz. Second last time out in the Grade 2 Seabiscuit, and then won the Grade 3 Knickerbocker Stakes at Belmont. Um, so unfamiliar with the Gulfstream Park turf, has raced here once and has not hit the board, but that was several races ago. So nothing too kind of too concerning. It was the Pacific or the Pegasus World Cup that this horse did run in back in 2020. So kind of coming back to the Pegasus to see what it can do, and it's up against it really well in here with Colonel Liam. And my third pick and long shot are both on the outside. I'm kind of going with number 12's Never Surprise as my third pick, an interesting one. Here with a first last time out at Gulfstream in the Turf Paradise Derby or Turf Derby, $100,000 stakes race. Hasn't done too bad in graded stakes race, finishing second in both of those. One at Belmont and one at Saratoga. Has some decent speed figures, 7 and 4 lifetime. So a horse that could easily sneak up there and kind of spoil this for Colonel Liam. And my long shot pick, I'm going with Cross Border only because he likes to run them down from behind. And I think the last time he ran with Colonel Liam, jockey kind of was like, okay, when Colonel Liam goes, we're going to go. And that's kind of what Cross Border did, and kind of followed up with a nice third place finish there. So I'm hoping that maybe Raul Gutierrez is a little bit more aggressive, as he's been aggressive kind of kicking off this late winter meet. And maybe can run this horse up into a second or third place showing, get a little money. This horse will probably float up a little bit to 20-1 with these other top turf horses in this race. So I'm looking at it to be probably go off around the 20s, 20-1 odds, and definitely going to use this in a trifecta or an exacta with Colonel Liam and Never Surprise in my other pick. In here, Sacred Life, just to see if I can add a little value to my ticket. Definitely one that likes to come from the back. As you can see, 6th to 1st, and this last time out, kind of went from 4th to 5th. So the horse needs to be one that's going to be able to run them down from behind. And here we go, capping it off with the big race 12 going a mile and 8, the Pegasus World Cup Invitational, presented by First Bet, a grade 1 stakes race for 4-year-olds and up. And here we go with Knicks Go and Life is Good. The 1 versus the 4. Morning line favorite Knicks Go sitting at 6-5. Comes in winner of the last 4. Breeders' Cup Classic, the Lucas Classic, the Whitney. And you look back, the last time the horse got beat was back in the Metropolitan, where he lost to Silver State by My Sanders and Mischievous Alex, finished 4th. So definitely a horse that for Brad Cox that is in great form right now, winning that Breeders' Cup Classic. Definitely going to get heavily bet in this race, just based off the speed figures alone, what the horse has accomplished so far. The horse being the 2021 horse of the year, just looks unstoppable. The horse that's going to attempt to run him down is going to be Life is Good for Todd Pletcher and Arad Ortiz. Gets one of the most aggressive jockeys in Arad. Looking back at it, last loss was back at Saratoga. Got beat out by Jackie's Warrior. Coming in, winning the last 2, the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile and the Kelso Handicap of Grade 2. So going to definitely duel it out between these two in Life is Good and Knicks Go. I'm going to use Chess Chief in here just as maybe a spoiler. You never know. I thought it was interesting. This horse was supposed to run in the Louisiana with Mandaloon and Midnight Bourbon. Dallas Stewart scratches it out kind of the last minute, says, nope, we're going to point this horse to the Pegasus. So I kind of thought that was kind of interesting. And definitely at 10-1. If you are a win place show wager, this would be a highly smart bet in Chess Chief, going with a win place show. Has ran with Knicks Go before, finished 5th in that just really did not have anything for Knicks Go, and I plan to use Chess Chief as a win play show wager, um, just to see what happens. Maybe gets up there for a second. Life is Good and Knicks Go battle it out so hard. Life is Go can't hang, and then Chess Chief kind of comes along and sweeps up the second prize. Um, and my long shot pick in here. Hopefully, we get a little bit better on 12-1. But I think if the other two take a lot of money, this could always go up to 20-1 for Sir Winston with Mark Cassie. 6-year-old horse out of Awesome again. Winner last time out in the valedictorian. Grade 3 at Woodbine. Posing a 105 speed figure. Kind of had it easy, was the heavy favorite coming in there. So going to have a lot of work to do, but another one that you could also throw, $5 across the board. Maybe the horse comes in second or third for a decent 20-1 payout. But looking at some of these others, I mean, it's just kind of tough to get through the first two of Knicks Go and Life is Good. I just think Knicks Go easily runs away with this one, just by the form that he's in, the workouts that he's posted, and looking at that resume of the Breeders' Cup Classic win, the Whitney win, and then even going back and even looking that, he ran in the Saudi Cup. He won this race last year, beating out Jesus's team. Just fabulous racehorse, and obviously recognition for the 2021 Horse of the Year. So that's the Saturday card at Gulfstream Park with the Pegasus Cup and the Pegasus World Cup Invitational on dirt at Gulfstream. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. If you are wagering on this today, make sure to subscribe to Bourbon and Horse Racing. Follow us on Twitter. Check out some of the links down below in the description for some free bets or free stock if you're into that stuff. And thanks for listening, and hopefully you win big.